From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
My bad. I got so into the music, I forgot to put myself in the stream, but it's all good. I'm here. It is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper. And you guys already know, as I just got done doing horsing around, and pretty much, this is the Primetime Angles Live and everything like that. But I do want to put you guys, if you love horse racing and things of that nature, go to Stable Duel right now. Sign up for an account. You guys will be in a fantasy version of getting some money at the end of the day, where you guys can have a whole stable of horses at Santa Anita, Golden Gate, maybe even Belmont Park. But you guys will be able to have yourself a stable of horses throughout the race day and see if you can go ahead and beat the pool. And you never know, the pool could be $500. It could be $10,000. But the pool varies every day. So, guys, jump into Stable Duel. Go get the app right now. But let's go ahead and get into it. It's time to talk about some NFL. And will Saquon Barkley bounce back after knee surgery? I've always felt that Saquon Barkley had a short shelf life in the NFL. He was an uber talented player coming out of Penn State. But I think that the hype was a little bit overblown simply because this is why. I'm going to explain. Zeke Elliott had such a great rookie season. It was such a high pick. It gave the Giants the idea that they could go get their own version of Zeke to, combat the Cowboys and things of that nature. But Saquon Barkley was overused at Penn State. So I knew that this could wind up being a problem when he got to the NFL. And he's been nothing but he's performed. He's done well, but it seems like every season he's hurt. He misses more games than he's played in. And I think that he has to really figure out a way not to play cautious or anything like that, but he has to understand that maybe a second contract might not be coming his way if he does a bit too much. So he might have to do the old Franco stance, and I'll run out of bounds so I can get me some extra years. You know what I mean? But Saquon Barkley is a rare talent. He's speed and power. He can catch the ball, very athletic. But I just feel like they gave him so much hype and so many expectations, and he is nowhere near lived up to that. But we do know the Giants would have been a better team last season if Saquon Barkley played for them the whole year. So I would say the jury's still out. But can he bounce back? Because this was a bad one. And we all saw it on national television. So it is what it is at the end of the day. I wish him well. I want everybody to ball. You know what I mean? You've got to the highest level of the game. The expectation is to ball. And that's what he does. But hopefully they can get it on a consistent basis. And that's my point. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our next topic at hand. Let's go ahead and explore the Julio Jones market value. And I told you guys when the season was going on last year that Julio Jones will probably be traded in the offseason because that contract is just too much. The contract is just too much. And really, at the end of the day, you tell yourself that the contract is just too much. He's a receiver. You know what happens when you're a receiver. When you get paid, sometimes you don't show up, just like with running backs as well, too. He showed up, but this showed how injury-plagued he was as well, too. And he did not have a Julio Jones-type season this season. And Riley showed that he could be the guy to replace Julio Jones, and it won't be an issue. Riley was a more highly productive player last season. And Julio Jones, it's almost the end of days. He's been there for a while. He's been on the team for a very long time. And he's been a primetime player. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can take away from that. He's been a primetime guy, but at the end of the day, this should be a very, very easy process. I'm saying right now, the Falcons don't have to ask for that much to get rid of him, okay? But they don't want to send him to anybody in the division. And I would say you don't want to send him to anybody in the conference either. I would think that you want to go ahead and get yourself a deal that's going to be fair to you as well, too. So I would think a second and fourth round pick would be serviceable. I think people would think that maybe a first rounder would be possible. No, not at all. Julio Jones isn't a bad player. He's a great player at that. But I feel like his peak and best time of his career was around when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl. And I think, honestly, that there's been way too many crucial moments where Julio Jones faltered as well, too. So, once again, it's another great wide receiver in the NFL, but he comes up short because thing is just the franchise, and it is what it is at the end of the day. But Matt Ryan has been a great quarterback. This has been a great weapon for Matt Ryan as well, too. So Julio Jones parting ways with the Falcons is a little bittersweet because he's one of Arthur Blank's favorite players as well, too. But I will say this, the Rams kind of pulled the trigger a little bit too quickly. If they would have knew Julio Jones would have been available on the market, they could have made the same type of deal, but even a better deal for themselves in the long term for Julio Jones and kept Jared Goff, or they could go ahead and say, you know what, we're going to sacrifice some more draft picks and we'll go get Julio Jones. They already went and got Deshaun Jackson. So, hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. But Julio Jones, market value, what level is it on? I would say that it would be in the B plus B minus level. Okay. So there it is. And we move on to our next subject in hand. The next subject, the return of Tim Tebow. This is a good thing for the NFL. Why? Because Tim Tebow is one of the good guys. You know what? Tim Tebow was only banished from the NFL because he liked to win, smile, and pray. Repeat. Win, smile, and pray. Tim Tebow took the NFL world by storm the year that he played for the Denver Broncos and led them to the playoffs. And everybody had their doubts every single week about Tim Tebow. And then he would just literally go ahead and shut him up. And that was beautiful to watch. And then what happens? He gets literally tossed away by the Denver Broncos, who said, you know what? We didn't draft this guy. We've already fired the coach that brought him in. So, hey, we want Peyton Manning. Get out of here, Tim Tebow. So Tim Tebow heads on over to New England. They try to turn him into a tight end. Then he goes to the Jets. They try to turn him into a tight end. And they just won't respect the fact that he's a quarterback. That's what he does. He leads. But Tim Tebow took it like a man. He took it on the chin and said, okay, I'll be a tight end. I'll be your up back. I'll be whatever you need me to be. So now Tim Tebow is back in the league with his former college coach, a guy that he made famous. Yeah, Tim Tebow made Urban Meyer famous. Urban Meyer was just a rinky-dinky coach coming from Utah, and you hope that he would do a good job with Florida, but you didn't take him that seriously. But then Tim Tebow stepped on the set and with Chris Leak, and they had themselves an incredible season and shocked the world when they beat the Ohio State Buckeyes, who had Heisman Trophy winner Troy Smith and future first-rounder top 10 pick Ted Ginn Jr., who ran a kickoff return back to start the game off. And you would have thought Ohio State would have won that game when you watch the tape. And then you go back at the halftime and see that they're down 35-7. So that was the beginning of the ultimate smashdown games for Urban Meyer. And it started with Tim Tebow playing spotty in that game, but everybody wanted more. Everybody wanted more after they saw that. And Tim Tebow wound up being one of the better college quarterbacks of all time. You know what I mean? And winning the Heisman Trophy not once, but twice. So this guy is absolutely overdue to be back in this league because he's a great locker room guy. Guys love to be around Tebow. Tebow is a great spirit, and he's back home somewhat in Jacksonville, where it all started with the Gators and everything like that. They're in Gainesville, but Jacksonville is very close to there. So this is a beautiful moment for everybody involved, and I think that the Jaguars did the right thing because they don't sell tickets as is, but you bring back Tim Tebow, and at least you'll get a 30% boost, and people want to see what Tim Tebow is going to do with Trevor Lawrence. So he's going to be a great mentor for Lawrence as well, too. I think Tim Tebow is literally an extra coach on the field if he's able to make the team as well, too. So there it is. Welcome back to the NFL, Tim Tebow. Glad to see you again. I know a lot of people won't agree with this, but I don't care at the end of the day. I respect winners, and Tim Tebow is a winner. All right, so with that, you guys check out hatclub.com. You guys can get that trip. Any $50 order or better, you guys can go ahead and get 10% off that, and you guys will be able to reap the benefits as well, too. So you guys, once again, go to hatclub.com, get that 10% off with the link in the show description, and you guys, with any $50 order or better, you get that discount, okay? So with that, we will be back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we are back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And as you guys saw, big wave boxing, everything like that. Don't miss Ramirez Taylor tomorrow on ESPN, the 140 undisputed clash for all the belts. It's going to be absolutely epic. But the broadcast starts at 7 p.m. as well, too. Live from Las Vegas at the brand new Virgin Resorts, the old Hard Rock. So all my Vegas people, you know where that's at. That's on Paradise and Harmon, and right across the street from the brand new White Castle, the old Checkers. See, that's how I'm over here. If you know Vegas, you know everything I'm talking about. If you fake Vegas, you're going to be, I've been there before, but I've never been off the strip. We know. All right, let's go ahead and get into Blue Crew Daily. Blue Crew Daily is going to be pretty good. Today, we have ourselves the Dodgers coming off a great sweep this weekend. This week, the 4-game sweep over the Diamondbacks. And as I told you guys before, the Dodgers had to get into the division play, and this is when everything will open itself right on up for the Dodgers. And that's exactly what it's done. The Dodgers have won their last 8 out of 9 games as well, too. After at one point being 18-17 and all that good stuff. Well, actually, 18-17, they've been on an absolute terrorizing. So I think that today is going to be a really good one. You have Trevor Bauer, the Dodgers pitcher with a whole lot of personality. And then you have Alex Wood, the former Dodger who was on the team during the 2017 run to the World Series. And, Alex Wood has been really good for the Giants this year. 5-0, 1.75 ERA as well, too. Going against Trevor Bauer, who's 4-2 this year, 2.29, 2.20 ERA. These two are going to have themselves a nice pitcher's duel today. So you can expect runs to not be at big today, in my opinion. I think that we could go ahead and we can just really, really just say to ourselves that this was going to be one of those good old Giants-Dodgers game that looks like it's from 1955, whereas, that's the 15th strikeout of the game on this side, but we'll see how it goes. It could be some scoring going on today as well, too. But I expect this game to stay under today as well, too. I think that this is one of the better series of the season in the MLB as well, too, being that the NL West has became the leader in the clubhouse when it comes to best teams in the league. For all three of their top teams in that division, they're all three of the top teams in all of baseball. That's absolutely insane. So pretty much the Dodgers have a steep hill upon themselves, and it starts today when it comes to this situation right here. It starts today with the arch rival, the San Francisco Giants. So let's go ahead and get into these MLB Friday games. All right, so we got the Sox and the Yanks, and this one should be a good one today. And I'm telling you right now, because both these teams have really good records, the White Sox are sitting pretty in the Central right now as well, too. My man Ray Flores is over there pumping his chest out. I know that's exactly what Ray's doing because he's a Southside boy. And my guy Danny Alvarez as well, too. And you guys know him as Danny Chicago, who's on my body. So those are my boxing guys right there. So I know they're loving their White Sox right now. And then you got the Yankees. Oh boy, the Yankees the Yankees. No. They're okay. The Yankees are third place. They're a game and a half out of first place. So Yankee fans, you're okay. April's over. It's time to start getting into position. You're right there with the Rays. But this is going to be a good game tonight because you have both these teams in position to better their situation this year. And Carlos Rodon is going to be on the mound for the White Sox. And then you got Jordan Montgomery on the mound for the Yankees. So this one right here should be a very, very intriguing game. And I do like the way things are setting up here as well, too. So I really do feel like this will be probably your game of the night, to be honest with you. So we'll see how it goes, see how it shakes out. But I think the White Sox got a big shot to win this game. All right, so let's move on. Let's go ahead and talk about our next game in hand. It's going to be a good one. Red Sox at the Phillies. This is going to be the East versus the East. NL East side run this mother, right? So pretty much you got the Red Sox who are coming into this game with best record in the AL from what I'm seeing, 27-18. And they are putting out Martin Perez on the mound today. 3.40 ERA, 37 strikeouts, over 16 walks. Aaron Nola, the best pitcher on the staff for the Phillies, will be pitching today as well, too. 61 strikeouts, over 9 walks. 3.64 ERA as well, 2.33 on the year. So they evenly match up somewhat here, but I think at the end of the day, this game winds up being a Phillies walkover, to be dead honest with you. I think the Phillies romp today to keep it real. I think they got their best pitcher on the mound, dominant pitcher, going against a pitcher who's playing well, but he's kind of so-so at the same time too. So let's hope he's bad Martin Perez today, and we can go ahead and get ourselves a good win today. So that's going to be that for this interleague matchup. So we move on to our next game, and our next game is going to be a fun one. This is going to be the Mets at the Marlins, and this is going to be a game that probably will not receive a lot of attention. But, you're getting Marcus Stroman on even money today. That's not bad at all. That's actually a pretty good bet, to be that honest with you. But I would suggest to folks that, pretty much, choose wisely. But you see what they're saying. They're saying it should be a low-scoring game today. And then, they're favoring the Marlins a bit because the Marlins are at home. And the Marlins seem to have the Mets number a little bit in Miami as well, too. But I think Marcus Stroman gets on the mound today, has himself a game, and I think the Mets can go ahead and win this. So I'm pegging them to win the game as well, too. So there it is. Mets with the even money, and we'll see how it shakes out. All right, so now our next one's going to be a good old rivalry game between the Cubs and the Cardinals. The Cubs coming in here minus 125. Cardinals plus 105 today as well. So pretty much this game has some so-so pitchers in a sense, you know what I mean? But I think that, when you look at everything, when everything comes together, I think that this will be a good old classic Cubs-Cardinals game that's going to be a little intense and will find itself going under today. So I'm scoreboard watching here, and we're going to see exactly where that will take us. All right, so let's get into another rivalry game. The team from Oakland going against the team from Anaheim. And that's the A's at the Angels. And, this is one of the this is a West-West rivalry right here. This is that it goes down when it comes to Oakland and Anaheim. So when I look at this one, you got both teams that are split on each side. I think today this is a game that can go over as well, too. So you look at the numbers, you look how they're setting up on the spread. They can't really pick a winner here. It's going to be a 50-50 split. So with that, I think that this should be a scoreboard watching game as well, too. And I really do like the over in the spot as well. So let's go ahead and cap it off with the Mariners and the Padres in another interleague game between same division, but different leagues. You got the AL West Seattle Mariners, and then you got the NL West San Diego Padres. Padres coming in here as a heavy favorite. Mariners are plus 170, heavy dog today, one of the heaviest dogs of the day. Over under is 7.5. I think that the San Diego Padres will wind up getting over bet today, and we'll figure something out to where Seattle is actually going to be in this game and can possibly win. But we'll go ahead and save ourselves the headache and go ahead and just take them on the spread and hope for them to either win the game or just lose the game by 1 run. So we'll see how it shakes out. We'll see how it goes. But this is a good value spot for people looking for a dog bet. Give the Mariners a shot because they could catch San Diego slipping tonight. I can feel it. All right. So there it is. With that, you guys go ahead and check without Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus, you can get the promo code VSX. They have great programming there, great content there. You guys can also watch replays of the college basketball tournament as well, too. You guys can also, when the NFL season starts, I think you'll be able to watch your NFL games as well, too, if you don't catch them live. So there it is, Paramount Plus, giving you great value. And you know what? Netflix, eat your heart out. Because here comes all the big movie companies right now with their streaming services. All right, so there it is. We will be right back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
The Vigit app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Vigit is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Vigit.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
All right, we're back, and you know what time it is, man. Let's go ahead and jump into the first round of the NBA playoffs. And here goes the matchups, and here goes my predictions and why I'm going with these predictions. All right, we got the number 1 seeded 76ers. I know that sounds really good to 76ers fans right now. First time since the Iverson era. Iverson led them to a first seed back in 2001 season. So it's been 20 years since that time. And the 76ers, led by Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, they've found themselves in prime position to be right there in the NBA Finals this year. The Wizards have probably the best story of the year. Nobody can deny that. This team came from the absolute shambles. You haven't seen a comeback like this since Avengers Endgame. Seriously, like they got Thanos and then they came back from it. Like literally, they were a terrible team. They're giving up like 130 points a night, and Bradley Beal was doing all this superhero stuff and was literally falling short each game, and they found a way. They found a way. And you have to commend this team. But at the end of the day, they're not going to beat the 76ers in this series. What's going to happen here is that the 76ers will probably wind up winning the first 2 games of the series. And then the Wizards will come back around and maybe pull off a shocker of winning both games in Washington to set it off. And then I think Philly finishes them off in the next 2 to advance to the next round. But I got this series going 4-2. 76ers are the winner. This is a chalky series as well, too. So you're not getting a lot of value out of the 76ers in this series as well, too. So at the end of the day, that's where I'm going with this one. We move on to our next spot. It's going to be the Nets and the Celtics. And you know what? You would have thought this would have been a conference final, maybe a second round situation. If Jaylen Brown was here, I wouldn't overlook the Celtics at all. But the problem with this series is that there's no Jaylen Brown. And they need Jaylen Brown to combat the big 3. Oh, my bad. KD said the big 15. So they need Jaylen Brown in place to maybe make it a little bit harder on Harden. You know what I mean? Or maybe getting Kyrie's chest a little bit, but they don't have that. So they're down to Jason Tatum, and hopefully he's healthy enough to stick around in the series, but he's still my dog. He's still my guy, Kemba Walker. So I don't see Boston doing well in the series. I think Boston drops the first 2 games of the series. They win one in Boston, and then they lose the series. So I got the series going 5 games. If Boston can be better than my prediction, good for them. But I think the Nets are going to take this as a nice little tune-up, and we'll go from there. All right, so let's check out the 3rd and the 6th seeds, and that's going to be the Bucks and the Heat. And this is a rematch from the second round last year where the Heat shook up the apple cart and literally went ahead and put the NBA world on its ears and put out the Milwaukee Bucks, who had the best record in all of basketball and were one of the most dominant teams you had seen in years with the way that they played in the regular season before everything got halted due to the pandemic. So now you got the Bucks back. They're not the top seed this year. They're the 3rd seed. They've been back and forth this year with winning and losing, but they've been consistent enough in the winning department to get themselves to a 3rd seed. The Heat got out to a very slow start, but finished very, very well. We're able to snatch up the division after being last place in the division the first month of the season. So this will wind up being the best series, or one of the better series in the first round period, because I think we're going all 7 games here. Jimmy Butler is a fighter, and he's going to keep fighting and keep clawing. And I know Milwaukee will make the mistakes to where this can lead to a 7-game series. But Miami's going to have to keep their head on the swivel and stay grounded. So we'll see how it goes, but I have this one going a full 7 with the Bucks getting their sweet revenge to go ahead and move along this year. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the next series, the final series, the Knicks and the Hawks. Both these teams ain't been to the playoffs in a while, but the Hawks have been there more recently than the Knicks. The Knicks are, I won't say they're back, but they're in the playoffs. And right now, the whole city is buzzing, thinking about possibilities with the Knicks and future possibilities with the Knicks as well, too. I think this one comes down to the best players taking over at the right time, at the moment. And I think that's going to be Trae Young, and that's going to be Julius Randle. And also throwing a dab of that John Collins as well, too. So this is going to be absolute war out here on the floor. And I really do think that the Knicks go ahead and get themselves the definitive win in Game 7, right in the Garden, and let the celebration begin, right? We out the first round. So there it is, Knicks versus the Hawks. And let's see how that one goes, see how it shakes out. So you guys can watch all these games on Fubo TV. You guys can go ahead and get the 7-day free on me. So just press the link in my show description, and you guys can start your free trial today on Fubo TV. You guys can get live TV as well too. You guys can get a lot of entertaining products and a lot of entertaining shows and things of that nature. And then you also have every sports channel in the book. So check them on out, Fubo TV. And we will be right back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live.
The Vigit app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Vigit is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Vigit.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
All right, we are back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And man, let's go ahead and get into the West Side. And we're bailing on the West Side. All right, so we got the Jazz, number 1 seed for the first time since Stockton and Malone got beat by Michael Jordan in the finals. And we all saw Last Dance. You guys know what I'm talking about. So pretty much the Jazz are back, but they ain't got no Karl Malone. They ain't got no John Stockton. They just got lucky that the Lakers got hurt. The Clippers played half a season, and pretty much Denver lost Jamal Murray. So the Jazz went on, say, like a 22 out of 23 streak and found themselves well ahead of everybody in the Western Conference. But they've pretty much they haven't been an even team, but they've went back to being who the Jazz really are. And they were shooting threes and making threes at a high rate. So this year they've replaced the Houston Rockets as a team that can just consistently beat you with the outside shot. So the Jazz may be the most vulnerable first seed that you've seen in the NBA playoffs ever. You know what I mean? If they lock it up with the Grizzlies, it's a sweep. But if they play the Warriors, I'm telling you right now, the Warriors are sending them home. 4-2 Warriors. Steph has been in this spot before, and Steph knows how to beat the Jazz as well, too. And I'm going to be crazy right now. So just call me Crazy Pop, like Crazy Gideon in old Downtown LA commercials. And I'm going Warriors 4-2. So eat that up. Go get that value on the Warriors right now. Steph Curry is the hottest player in the NBA, and I don't think the Jazz can go ahead and shut him down. But this is the keys to the Warriors really winning this series. Andrew Wiggins, hello. They need you to be the guy that you were advertised to be, okay? Once again, play like a first pick in the draft and stop playing like a guy that they picked up in the second round, all right? And if he can play to a level that's better than what he's playing at right now, good night, Irene, all right? So there it is, Utah Jazz and the possible matchup either against the Grizzlies or the Warriors. We're going to see tonight. I think that the Warriors win the game, to be honest with you, okay? So, but we got to play the game first, as Keith Jackson would say. All right, so let's move on to our next one. It's going to be the Suns and the Lake Show. And I know it looks like homering right now, but come on, let's keep it real. This is in reverse. The Lakers should be the 2 seed. The Suns should be the 7 seed. Suns, once again, were a team that got hot and took advantage of these teams having to go through the motions. So they find themselves in a 2 seed spot. And this reminds me of a lot of a Lakers series from years ago when the Lakers were winning titles and things of that nature, and Kobe and Gasol and Bynum and all that stuff. They have played the New Orleans Hornets in a series. Chris Paul was a young point guard at the time. Monty Williams was a young coach at the time. And literally, I feel like it will be the same series. It'll wind up going 6 games. The Lakers, to me, have that advantage because if they can win 1 game in Phoenix early in the series, then it's going to make them very comfortable here. And then I think what happens here is that Phoenix will probably snatch game 5, and then the Lakers go ahead and go to Staples, win their game, move on to the next round, get prepared for whoever's going to be the winner of the Nuggets-Blazers series. So I got the Lakers winning the series 4-2. I know I'm homering, but I'm being realistic as well, too. The Lakers shouldn't lose the series, to be that honest with you. All right, Phoenix has kind of ran its course already. They're dealing with a lot of nagging injuries, and the Lakers are on full tilt, as you saw last night in that comeback. So let's go ahead, move forward, talk about the 3 and 6 seeds, and that's going to be the Nuggets and the Blazers. The Nuggets are coming in here kind of gimpy, but at the end of the day, the Nuggets have the opportunity to still go ahead and beat the Blazers. The Blazers are a good team, but you know how inconsistent they are as well, too. So if the Nuggets can get to winning games fairly early in this series, say maybe taking the first 2 games in Denver, they'll be in good shape. But if they split in Denver, it's going to be it may be a difficult path. But I think what happens here, we're going to be alternating wins and losses here in this series, and we'll wind up getting 7 games out of this. So I got the Nuggets winning this series, but I know a lot of people are going to be betting the Blazers to win this series as well, too. So this may be the most even when it comes to the series prices. So you guys jump all over and see what you can get out of it. All right, so let's get to the Clippers and the Mavs. And the Clippers, to me, are going to be put out in the first round. And Kawhi Leonard's walking, okay? Not to the Lakers, but he's walking. He's walking somewhere. And they ain't going to be back over to Chick Hearn's court either. You know what I mean? So be prepared. Be ready. He should be moving. Because the thing is, it ain't going to happen with the Clippers. It ain't going to happen with Paul George. And he knows that. So save yourself the grief and just find yourself a better situation. And those better situations are in better places like Miami. Maybe go help out the Knicks a little bit. Knicks would love you. And you know what? I know one guy who would do a sign and trade in a heartbeat for anybody on that roster right now. Danny Ainge will move whoever he has to get Kawhi to come up to Boston because that could be the piece that brings back the Celtic pride. But let's get into the series. I feel like Luka Doncic has revenge on his mind. And a lot of people felt the Mavs could beat them last year. He has Kristaps with him as well, too, this year. So I think what happens here is that the Clippers get absolutely embarrassed in this series. I think that the Mavs win the first game of the series, then the Clippers make this thing close. But then what happens is that the Mavs get 2 wins in Dallas, and, they give the next win to the Clippers, and then they go ahead and close them out in Dallas in a week or two. So I like the Mavs at 4-2 to win this series, and they are a 3-1 to win this series on the series price. So there it is. There it is. That's the Pop NBA first round preview, and those are my picks and plays. And you guys go ahead and check out the series prices to see if they fit your bankroll. And I would say, and you can have a high bankroll, but you don't want to overspend on things as well too. But if you want to and you feel really good about it, then you can go ahead and do that. All right, so that's our NBA first round preview, and let's get into talking tickets. And talking tickets, we got the Phillies at -1.5. We also have the White Sox at -110 today. Mets money line at -105. The under 8.5 with the Cubs and the Cardinals. The over 9 with the A's and the Angels. And then at the end of the night, we're going to take the +1.5 Mariners. All right, so we move on to the NBA Super High Five. And with the NBA Super High Five, I'm going to take the Dream, since they got a new ownership group and they feeling themselves and all this good stuff, and they think it's going to make the franchise better and all that stuff. I'm going to go ahead and take the Dream with the +120 today. Also, we have the under 158.5 with the Liberty and the Mystics. And then we have the -3 to the Mercury today as well. These are WNBA games. And then our dog of the day, the LA Sparks. Yeah, they don't have Candace Parker anymore, but they all right. They're going to be okay. They're going to be good. We'll see how it goes, and we'll go from there. And then we have the over 221.5 with the Grizzlies and Warriors today as well. It's going to be a 99-1 ticket. If we cash this bad boy, we're going to all take the week off next week, okay? So it is what it is. You guys go ahead and check out UWager, where the world bets, and you guys get the promo code VSXPOP, and you guys can go ahead and reap the benefits. You guys will receive a 50% deposit, match deposit. If you guys put up, say $200, they'll go ahead and match you with $100, and now you have $100 in free play to start your sports betting journey. All right, so use those plays if you're going to use UWager today, and see if you can make you some money. And if you do, go ahead and send a message to the show. So we love to hear about it. All right, so that's going to be that for today's show. I want to go ahead and thank everybody. Who participated on the show this week, guest-wise and things like that. Big shout-out to my graphics producer as well, too. Did a great job, as usual. And you guys already know, if you guys have inquiries about that, you guys can go on the Twitter and or actually – you just look up Amani Akil. You guys can go ahead and find him there. And then he's also on Instagram as well, too. So if you want to go ahead and get yourself some banging graphics and get yourself a good price on that, go ahead and hit up my man, Amani Akil. So, I want to send a big shout out to Viva Promotions, 100X as well, and to all Fubo TV and all the other sponsors and partners that we have with that are, pretty much here with the primetime angle. So I want to go ahead and thank you guys very much. It's been a great week this week. We'll be back Monday for more of the angles, more of the bets, more cash and tickets, losing tickets. We ain't always perfect, but we come back every day ready to play. All right. So with that, you guys, let's keep this movement moving. Things are moving in the right direction and in a great direction. And also, bet with your head and not with your heart. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.